Well, good morning, everyone. I make this very short video to introduce you about pseudocode. That is what you learn in this class, and for many assignments required to work with the pseudocode here. So basically, the pseudocode, the first definition of pseudocode is it's artificial and informal language that help programmers to develop algorithm here. So that remember, pseudocode is not real programming language. And later on, when you learn about Python or C++ or C#, they are real programming language. But pseudocode here, it is artificial and informal language. It's not real programming language. But it really helpful in the step in design for program and in planning for the program here. So basically, for every program, you have the three basic elements. The first one, the input. You get it from user, or you can get it from another file or list, anything, right? The second one's the assignment, or sometimes it's a calculation here, that you do everything with a calculation and you apply formula and so on here to bring to the expected output. And the third one is output. It giving out the desired output here. So basically, for every program, you have the three basic elements: input, you get it from user, or you get it from another file or somewhere else. Right? The second one is everything with assignment. You do everything with the calculation and apply formula. And the third one is the output here to deliver the desired output here. So here is very simple example, right? So think about you have a shop owner, you sell ball, and for each of them, you have the price is $5 here, right? And you have to develop a program to ask the seller to enter how many balls he sell for one day, and from that you figure it out how much money, what is the revenue, right? So this is very simple program, and again you can identify the three elements here. Input here is number of balls, right? It's how many balls already sold for 2 days, and use a variable here. So later on, we learn about variable, but to make it simple, variable, that means something changeable, right? Because number ball, it depends on day, right? Some day he can sell for 100, another day he can sell it for 200 and 500 here. That's why it is a variable. Variable, that means changeable, right? And from the number ball, the user enter, right? The shop owner, right? So that remember when you're using the variable here. Where am I pen? So think about you define for the variable. The variable, every variable has the specific name, right? So in that variable, you have the variable name is ball here. So what happened here? So what happened if you have variable ball? Actually, it will reserve a memory slot in the memory here, a slot in memory. And if user enter number 10, it will store it to the number 10 in the memory slot here. And the other day, if he enters the number 50, it will override and it replace with the 50 here. Right? So remember, variable is something changeable. And for some reason, if you enter the new value, it will override the old value. Right? So basically, from the number of ball, you can figure out what is the revenue here. Revenue is the number of ball times 5 here. 5 here is price for each ball, right? So basically, later on, you learn 5 here. It is a constant. The constant, that means stay the same, always stay the same, because the price for each ball is always 5 here. It's always stay the same. Right? So think about if he enter 50 here, and the revenue, you can figure it out. After this step, you have 250 here, right? So it will store into another variable here, and the variable name is the revenue here, right? Revenue here. And after this step, it stores the value of 250 in the revenue, right? And the last one here, the output, that means you need to accept into memory slot with the name of revenue, and you put it down. Sorry, you put it out with the value of 250, and you print it in the screen here. Right? So basically, you see that very simple program. You have input, number of ball, you have calculation. You can you figure out what's the revenue here, and the last step, you just print it out. You accept into the revenue. You pull it out the value and print it out here. So for now, this is a very simple program with a pseudo code here, right? So you see, for this every pseudo code program, you have start, you have stop and stop a program, right? Declaration, that means you have to declare every variable you use in the program here. So in this program, it's very simple. You only have the two variables here. The first one, ball, right? Again, they are variables that's changeable, right? So if one day the shop owner can enter number 10, or the other day number 20 or 30, right? The second one is based on number ball. You have to figure out what is the revenue. That is a changeable also, right? Because it depends on the number of ball here. Now, the first step is declaration. Right? The second one, input. Input is a process you get it from user, and you store it into the variable name ball here. Again, that it depends on the user. It depends on the shop owner here, right? He can enter the number 10 or number 20 here, but remember, it's very important here. It's changeable, and if they have new value, it will override the value here, right? So if one day he enter number 10 and the other time he execute it, he enter number 20, it will override the number 10 and replace with the number 20, right? So think about if after this step here, the shop owner enter number 20 and it's stored in the variable name here with the value of 20, right? So after this step here, that is a calculation, right? So see what happened. That is the assign. That means you assign value to variable. What is it? When the program execute, it will call it out. What is valuable? It will reference to the value of the variable name for and take it out the value here. So now it is a number 20, right? And it time to 5. Here it is 5 for each ball. And after this step, what happened here? You have another variable slot here and name the revenue. And you store the value after this calculation here, 100. Right? So the last step, output here is that action. You accept into the memory slot with the name revenue here, and you take it out the value. For this one, it's 100. Right? So that is a program execute if the user enters the number 20 here. Right? But the other time, I mentioned that they are variable, changeable, right? It depends on the number of ball the shop owner sells here. Right? So what happened here? The other time, if after this step here, the shop owner possesses that he sells for 50 here, right? So again, you have the 50 here stored into the variable name ball here. After this step, what happened? You have another variable revenue here. What happened here? It accept in the ball, take it out the value of 50 and time to 5, and you store it into the revenue. If this you have the 250, and the last step, you just print it out on the screen here. You have 250 revenue. What's that? Sorry. So that's a very simple program, right? Now, for some program, it makes more sense with the prompt. What's the prompt? Prompt is that something it tell user what to do, right? So think about for the step here, you input ball, right? The user enters the number 50, but it's not really make sense. It's better to tell user that what they are supposed to do, right? So that here, this one they call the prompt. So what's the prompt? Prompt is that something show up on the screen and tell user what they have to do. So it really makes sense for the end user here, right? So it tells user please enter number of balls. So for today, so after this, again is the action you store it into the variable ball here. And for the output also, it makes more sense if you include some of the literary text here to make it more sense to the end user. Now I can show you I can show you in the Python, so you have more understanding about what is a prompt and what is a what is a text you can concatenate in the output here. I think about I have a very simple program in the Python here. Right. So I go with a new file. New file here. Right. So this program in the Python, you do not have to declare the variable before using it. Now I need the input, right? I want to store into the variable variable here, and I want to get it from user. And for now, you do not have to understand the exact what is syntax of the Python here, but I just want to show you what is a prompt here. Server, I have input from user, and I want to convert it into the integer number here. You do not have to understand the syntax here. I just want to explain you what is a prompt here. I convert it and I input it here, and then I put it here. Now I got it from user, right? It depends, it's changeable. It can be 10 or 20 or right. Now I figured out what's the revenue bit. Revenue, I got it from the number 4. Or here is variable, it's changeable. It depends on the user, right? And time file here. Thanks. Now the last step, I said I'll put here in the Python is the print function here. I just print it out. What is the revenue here? Okay, that's a very simple program in the Python, and I can save it. I can save it in the desktop here, right? I can put it back in. Right. So now, when I run it, I execute it. You see, if you are the user, you have no idea what you are supposed to do here, right? But I am the one who writes this program, so I understand that I need to enter a number for here. So if I put the number 20 here, so I expect the revenue is 100 here. It's correct. It printed out correct. But if you think about the end user perspective here, it's very hard for them to understand what is going on with the program here. Right? That's the program without prompt. Right? So what is the prompt? Prompt is something include in the program to tell user what they are supposed to do. Now I modify my program. Right? So let I modify my program here. Now I include the prompt here. Prompt is something tell user what to do, right? So I modify my program, right? Please enter number of ball you saw for today. Right? So you see what happened here. If I run it again, it makes more sense, right? It makes more sense here. Now, if you are the indicator, let's see, it tells the end user what they are supposed to do. It makes more sense than the last program here, right? So now I understand that I have entered the number 4 here. This time I enter the number 15. Remember that the number here is changeable. It's up to you, right? It's up to how many balls you sell here. So now what is when I enter the number 15 and the expected output here it is a 75. It's correct, right? But again, the 75 is not really make sense. It should be better that if you include something here, right? So the revenue you got for today is to make more sense, right? So remember, what is it? Everything you put inside the double quote mark here, they are literally text only, right? But the revenue here it is a variable. So if he enter number 10 here, revenue 15, right? If he enter number 20 here, revenue here is 100, right? And now see, again, I run my program, it makes more sense, right? So what happened here? I enter this one 20, and you see, sorry, for this one, you don't need to put This one, I think for this, you don't need this system. I don't get it. And this time I have 20. It looked very strange to me. Only since a long time I don't use. Print. A long time I don't use it. It's very, very weird to be here. Why? Why include here? Okay. Let me see. I think it's because. Let me see. Let's check. Honestly, why weird to me for this one? Let me see here. Uh, but for some reason, it looked very weird to me. When it use a print function, it includes a Yeah, but you see, when I run it with the Visual Studio Code here, I don't have anything with the problem here. So I think it might be problem with the IDEO in Python here. But anyway, that I just want to show him what is the meaning of prompt and what is the meaning if you include the text in the output here, right? So you see, when you compare the output, right? When you compare output between the two programs, right? Within the two programs, it way better if you include the in the output here. Where my program? Yeah, right. So see, back then, if I run this one, if I'm the user, I have no idea what's going on with my program here. It's very hard for me. If you are the user, it's very hard for you to understand what's going on here, right? See what happened here when I run it. I'm the one who develops the program, so I understand that I had to enter number 4 here. But if you think from that user point of view, you have no idea what's going on, right? So it should be better if you modify, you include the prompt here to tell user what they have to do, right? Please enter number 4. And for this one also, you can put it here. Yes, way better, right? See, yeah, if I can modify it to make it sense. Right, so that is the meaning of the prompt. It's way better. So it can modify. You see, back then, user get from user, but have no idea here. But when you compare this slide and this slide here, this is a prompt here to tell user what they have to do. And so you see, for the output, I include the literal text here to make it more sense to them. Now you have new problem, right? So now, as a shop owner want to change the price for each ball from 5 to 6, of course, you have to modify program, right? User, instead of time to 5, you time it to 6 here, right? The next time, you ask them, right? Now, the problem here that it's very hard for them to, every time they call, the shop owner want to change the price, he had to call you, right? So every time you have to come to fix the program here, it's not very flexible here, right? So you have one more option. You can give that option to the shop owner. He can modify the price here, right? So in that case, then the price here is not constant anymore. It's not always stay at 5 or it's not always stay at 6 anymore, but it's changeable here, right? So in order to do that, you need one more variable. Right? That's the price. So you see, I can modify my program here. I need one more variable here. Right? It is the price. It's the price here. Right? So see, input now I need 2 inputs. The first one is number 4. The second one is the price for each ball here. Right? And the shop owner is the one who had to enter it. So I just modify program. I need one more variable. Num here, that means the number format. Right? So I get it from user for number 4. That is a prompt, and that is the action you stored in the variable. Right? That is a prompt to ask user enter the price, and that's the action you stored into the variable. And you figure it out with the calculation, and you print it out with the output here. So see, for this program, you have start and stop here. Right? So what happened with this program? You can see again, it's quite the same, right? Now, what is it? You have one variable ball here, and it depends on the end user. If he enters the number 10 here, it store number value 10 here into the ball, right? And you have one more variable here, price, right? And it depends on user. If he enters the number 15 here, it store value number 15 into the ball price. So after this one, calculation here, what is it? Calculation, what is the ball? It reference the ball, takes out number 10. It reference to the number to the price and take it out value 15, and they time together. And after this step, you have 150 here. You store into the variable name revenue here. And that's the last step. You just print it out. Right? You accept into the revenue and then print it out. Revenue for today is 150 here. Right? Makes sense? Okay. So that's the problem here. That's a very simple program here, right? And also for this program, I want to introduce to you what is a syntax error and what is a logical error here. So basically for the syntax error, the program will they are not working. So they are not work, right? So when you have the syntax error, the program will stop. And you are the one who have to find out what is the error and you have to fix it in order to execute program here, right? So one is the most common mistake when you work with syntax error. It is inconsistent variable name. Right? So think about in the program here, you store from end user, right? You store from end user into the variable name ball here, right? Balls here, right? So if we enter number 10, but after this step here, you see, you want to figure out what revenue, it look it up for the ball. No, you don't have any variable with ball here. You only have variable with ball s here, right? So in that case, you have the syntax error, right? So let me show you when I run with the program with here the program here. What happened if I change here, not ball s anymore, but ball only? What happened here? Zip is an inconsistent variable name, right? Here it's not the same. So what happened when you execute program? You got the syntax error here. Huh? Now see what happened if I enter the number 15 here. What do you see? It doesn't understand what's the ball here. It's not defined here. All right, that's why you have the syntax error. And you know that you have to fix it here. All right, that is syntax error. So remember, syntax error is something programming stop, and you have to find out what is the error. And that is process of debugging, right? You have to find out what is the error, and you have to fix it, and before it can be executed. Okay. That is the syntax error. Now the second one is a logical error here. Logic error here, right? Logic error program run this, but the output is not what we expected here, right? So let me modify my program. I think about instead of time to 5, I plug it to 5 here. My mistake, right? So see, I want to enter the 10 ball. I expect the output is a 50 here, but for this program, it printed out 15, not 50, right? So that is a logical error. Even that, when I run it, it executes, right? See, it executes here. Sorry, here. But you see, the output here is not what I expected. So that is a kind of logic error. So one way to overcome the logic error is that you have to figure out the testing scenario, right? So to make sure that if you enter the number 10 here, you expect the output here is a 15, not 15, right? That's the way you can figure it out. So I think that's all for the Pseudo code. It's very simple here. So need something. Remember, for every program, you have the 3 basic elements: input, output, and calculation. Actually, input, calculation, and output here, right? So you go back to the program here, you can see what happened with the program here, right? This one, right? Now you have start and stop. You have declaration. You declare the variable you use here. The ball is the number format. The price here is the number format, and the revenue here is the number format. Now that process you get input for ball. That process you get input for price, and that process you do the calculation to figure out what's the revenue. That is process for the out. So last step here for the output, you bring it down. You print it out. What's the value revenue here? I hope you got it now. Thank you. Bye bye.